The leaked document detailing Putin's plan for the annexation of Belarus by 2030 has created international concern. The plan consists of 3 stages. First, it aims to align Belarusian identity with Russian values, eroding its distinctiveness. Second, it involves introducing a common currency and Russian passports, reducing Belarus's autonomy and integrating it into Russia economically and politically. The final stage focuses on assimilating Belarusian identity into Russian culture through language, media, and education, eradicating unique aspects of Belarusian culture. The ultimate goal is to create a union state by 2030, fully integrating Belarus into the Russian Federation, resulting in complete loss of sovereignty. So, why does Russia want to annex Belarus? Russia's interest in annexing Belarus stems from several strategic considerations. One significant factor is the military advantage Belarus offers. With a robust army of 48,000 troops and the potential to mobilize up to 1.5 million military personnel and 150,000 volunteers, Belarus provides valuable manpower for Russia, especially in its ongoing military operations in Ukraine. Putin's strategic goals involve asserting Russian influence over neighboring countries, known as the Near Abroad. Belarus is pivotal to this vision. Annexing Belarus would allow Russia to tighten control over a neighboring state, align it with the Russian interests, and prevent the emergence of a strong pro-democracy government that could challenge Moscow's dominance. Geographically, Belarus shares borders with Russia to the east and Ukraine to the south, offering strategic advantages. Belarus played a crucial role in Russia's actions in Ukraine, allowing Russian forces to stage their assault on Kiev from its territory, shortening the distance to the Ukrainian capital. This proximity provided a strategic advantage, enabling a two-pronged attack on Kiev from the west and the east without the need to cross the Dnipro River. Absorbing Belarus would empower Russia, projecting power over key choke points and partially encircling Ukraine. This move would place the Russian army within striking distance of the Suwalki Gap, a vital land strip connecting Poland and Lithuania, thereby enhancing Russia's military capabilities in the region. The Suwalki Gap, an ill-defined strip along the Polish-Lithuanian border, holds immense significance due to Russia's land bridge efforts between Russia and Crimea. Capturing it would link Russian troops in Kaliningrad with Belarus, strengthening Russia's military capabilities. Additionally, merging the Belarusian KGB with the Russian FSB would enhance Russia's intelligence network, enabling more effective policing of the frontier with NATO. Furthermore, Belarus serves as a base and training ground for the Wagner Group, a Russian paramilitary organization, and reportedly hosts Russian tactical nuclear weapons. These developments augment Belarus's role in supporting Russian military activities and expand Russia's military presence in the region. Economically, integrating Belarus and Russia would enhance self-sufficiency, particularly in the face of Western sanctions. Russia's financial support to Belarus would be complemented by Belarusian industry, creating a resilient front against external economic pressures. This economic cooperation forms a significant motivation for annexation, ensuring mutual benefits and stability. Additionally, the political landscape in Belarus plays a crucial role. The contested 2020 Belarus election marked a turning point, with President Lukashenko's dubious victory sparking widespread protests and civil unrest. The opposition, led by Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, gained momentum, challenging Lukashenko's rule. Tikhanovskaya's popularity and her forced exile to Lithuania amplified concerns about Belarus's sovereignty and Russia's influence. Lukashenko's lack of an obvious successor and the strong opposition posed challenges. Putin might view this situation as an opportunity to assert control, preventing a successful takeover by Tikhanovskaya's opposition group. This move would safeguard Russia's influence in the region, aligning Belarus more closely with Russian interests. To understand why Russia aims to annex Belarus, it's crucial to explore the strategic steps they have been taking to achieve their goal. These steps, outlined in a leaked document, include reforming the Belarusian constitution to limit nationalist and pro-Western forces, Putin's pressure on Lukashenko to achieve these goals illustrates Russia's determination to shape Belarusian politics, military affairs, and business by 2025. A significant shift in Belarus's relationship with Russia occurred under Lukashenko's leadership, marked by agreements to host Russian nuclear weapons. This decision transformed Belarus into a key part of Putin's military strategy, erasing its neutral status and positioning it as a proxy of Russia. Former attempts by Western nations to cultivate ties with Lukashenko as a counterbalance to Russian influence have been undermined, as Belarus is now firmly aligned with Moscow's agenda. Lukashenko's involvement as a junior partner in Putin's Ukraine war further eroded his perceived neutrality. Despite initial attempts at peacemaking, Lukashenko's growing dependence on the Kremlin led to Belarus becoming a platform for the invasion of Ukraine, solidifying his subordination to Putin's interests. Russia's expansion of military presence in Belarus, including troop deployments and the potential deployment of nuclear weapons, escalates the situation. While Lukashenko appears to acquiesce, public sentiment resists these moves. Approximately 80% of Belarusians oppose hosting Russian nuclear weapons and reject involvement in the invasion of Ukraine. Despite potential suppression of protests, these actions delegitimize Lukashenko's regime and emphasize Russia's gradual annexation of Belarus. Russia's strategy to annex Belarus involves several key tactics. Passportization, previously used in Georgia and Ukraine, simplifies the process for Belarusians to obtain Russian travel documents, fostering closer ties between the people of both nations. Plans for currency unification further intertwine their economic systems, creating dependencies that increase Belarus's reliance on Russia. Control over the information space is another crucial aspect. Russia aims to shape public opinion and discourse in Belarus by promoting a shared culture and interpretation of history. This assimilation strategy includes language promotion, media consolidation, student exchanges, and funding Russian-linked lobbying organizations within Belarus. These measures aim to establish Belarus as Russia's ally, following the historic Soviet model of influence. Examining Russia's ambitions to annex Belarus reveals a complex web of challenges. By 2025, Russia aims to wield significant influence in Belarusian politics, military, and business, followed by complete control over information and cultural assimilation by 2030. This gradual strategy underscores a long-term effort. Geopolitically, this move offers Russia a chance to extend its borders, gaining influence in countries like Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia. While it creates a buffer zone against NATO, this expansion strains Russia's finances, requiring substantial resources for border security. Internally, Belarus faces generational divides. Older citizens lean towards a Soviet identity, while the youth look westward. This rift could spark tension and resistance to Russian dominance. Evidence of internal opposition, such as sabotage against Russian military assets, highlights the governance challenges Moscow would face. Moreover, monitoring the extended Ukraine border demands significant resources. While it could enhance Russian leverage over Kiev, it diverts attention from the Ukrainian conflict, where Russia seeks control. The consequences are substantial. European security faces instability as Belarus, historically a buffer, aligns with Russia. With Belarus aiding Russian military operations, Ukraine diverts resources to fortify its Belarusian border, hampering efforts against Russian aggression in the east. These ramifications echo beyond Europe, affecting global dynamics. The annexation of Belarus has escalated tensions in Eastern Europe, especially with neighboring NATO and EU states like Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland, who are bolstering their defenses along their eastern borders. Worries persist that Russian forces in Belarus and Kaliningrad might seize crucial areas, potentially isolating the Baltic states from their NATO allies. Although some argue these concerns might be exaggerated, the unease in the region is palpable. There's also a risk of direct Belarusian involvement in the conflict. raising fears that NATO and Belarusian opposition could exploit this to overthrow Lukashenko. Diplomatically and economically, Belarus faces more sanctions and isolation. Trade routes have been disrupted due to flight bans, leading to economic challenges. Thousands of businesses and workers have left the country. Additionally, there's the possibility of international legal action against Lukashenko for alleged war crimes during the Ukraine conflict. Calls for his indictment could limit his international travel and lead to further legal proceedings. This situation raises a critical question. How will the world respond to such a significant geopolitical shift? The global reaction would likely mirror past events, notably Russia's annexation of Crimea. The international community would condemn Russia's actions, emphasizing the importance of respecting the sovereignty of nations. The United States and the European Union would likely lead the charge, condemning the annexation and imposing sanctions. These sanctions might target key sectors of the Russian economy, restricting trade and financial transactions and potentially isolating Russia from the global economy to some extent. The expansion of Russian influence in Eastern Europe, particularly through the annexation of Belarus, would deeply concern NATO and neighboring countries. This situation would lead to heightened defenses along eastern borders, joint military exercises, and increased security measures in Baltic states like Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, exacerbating tensions with Russia. Moreover, the annexation might trigger a refugee crisis similar to the one from the Ukrainian conflict. Belarusians, fleeing political instability, could seek refuge in neighboring European nations, pressuring these countries to address humanitarian needs. Economically, the annexation would disrupt regional trade, affecting several European countries. Changes in trade routes and Russian-imposed restrictions could impact the European economy. Belarus's increased reliance on Russia might lead to economic stagnation, reducing opportunities for international investment. Diplomatically, the annexation would strain Russia's relations with the global community, complicating efforts to resolve other global issues. Trust between Russia and Western nations would erode further, hampering cooperation on crucial challenges like counterterrorism, climate change, and arms control agreements. In this high-stakes geopolitical game, the world watches with bated breath as Belarus, once a sovereign state, stands at the crossroads of a future that may redefine its very existence. As global leaders ponder their next moves and international alliances are put to the test, the fate of Belarus hangs in the balance. Geopolitics are back with a vengeance, and new leaders are revisiting old strategy guides. The annexation of Belarus, its implications, and the world's response embody the contemporary struggle for freedom, stability, and sovereignty. As we navigate these treacherous waters, the world must remain vigilant, united, and resolute for the future of Belarus and the global order as we know it.